I think maybe we've run out of things to talk about on this podcast.
No, we haven't. What the hell are you talking about? We literally have like a bunch of lists to go through still.
Yeah, but all I can think about are cicadas and how they're going to ruin my life for the next 3 months, and how I can't prevent them from coming back up onto the surface, despite all my years of practice.
That's what they made chastity belts for, Nick. Welcome to the Too Bad We Didn't Get the Cars podcast. I'm your co-host, David Capricia-Cars.
And I'm Nick Scarpinato, and we're having an interesting day so far. Interesting times ahead of us. I had 2 cicadas crawl onto my knee yesterday in the same spot. They were not the same cicada. They might have been brothers. They might have been related. More likely, though, they were unrelated, and they just thought that was a cool spot to land on. I tried to land them into a fire pit that I was sitting in front of, and couldn't really nail the aim. So I hit a person with a cicada instead of putting it in the fire. So it's been weird. It's been a little weird. I feel like I'm losing my summer because I have to give it away to these punks coming back up out of the ground after 17 years?
I think, God.
7 years? There's a 7 in there somewhere.
We were in elementary school, man. I remember.
Yeah, you know what I remember is with our friend Josh, we would pick up cicadas by the wing, and they'd be buzzing and shaking and begging for their lives. And as we saw the hope drain from their eyes as they realized what was about to happen, we would throw them in the air and smack them with tennis rackets so hard that there would be bits of cicada guts still on the tennis rackets after we had smacked them. And I have not addressed these violent tendencies that I had in middle school, but we already talked about this shit when we talked about Gears of War. And we were just very angry kids. And I'm not an angry adult anymore. I'm not an angry kid anymore. I'm not even an angry adult. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all these cicadas.
I am. I'm very angry. It's time to unleash hell.
What are you angry about, David? What's got you angry these days? How's work going?
Co-hosts who forget to mention what car we have today.
Wow,
that pisses me off.
That'd be really embarrassing for the person that you're talking about, because obviously I'm a co-host that does introduce what car we're talking about today. It is the Mercedes-Benz W123 wagon. It is...
It's Uncle Ben's car.
It's Uncle Ben's car.
That's the car he got shot in.
Well, shot in or...
Near?
I don't think he definitely died near it.
No, he pulled him out of the car and then he shot him.
Yeah, but this is a brown Mercedes-Benz because it sort of ties in to our movie that we're talking about, the same way that my shirt kind of ties into the movie that we're talking about. If you can't see, that is Totoro and the little Totoro and then the littler Totoro. They're probably not all called Totoro, but for the sake of this demonstration, they are. And for those of you who are just listening, my shirt doesn't actually have Totoro on it. It's one of those tuxedo shirts that's meant to be worn by middle schoolers who think that dressing up for prom is lame.
Don't believe his lies.
Believe that.
Just like Teddy. This man is Teddy over here. Don't believe his lies. Shout out to the Memento fans out there.
Memento fans. Christopher Nolan.
All right.
Chrissy Nolan. That sounds like that sounds like someone in an entirely different industry. That sounds like Chrissy Nolan sounds like a teenage superhero. Chrissy Nolan. She fights crime at night and she's a regular teenager by day. I don't know. Don't hire me to write comics. And then all of the people in the comments that were like, we weren't going to. I see you. And I read your comments.
How was your Milwaukee trip?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. And I'm glad that you asked about something that we didn't mention to each other prior to this and said we're going to talk about that in the podcast. So I went to Milwaukee recently to play a show at Raised Grain Brewing Company. Shout out Raised Grain in Waukesha, Wisconsin, which I think is not too far from Milwaukee. And it was a really fun time. Driving through Wisconsin always reminds me how flat Illinois is, because even just one state above, it's so much more, the terrain is so much more varied, and there's so many more hills and cheese. There's a lot more cheese in Wisconsin. And it was a nice night. It was very breezy, beautiful cover girl. I had a really nice beer and a honey mustard pulled pork sandwich. And then afterwards, I got Dairy Queen because I wanted to go to Dairy Queen and get some ice cream. And I tried the brownie batter blizzard, the B3, if you will. And it was just a nice night. And that's about as eventful as it got. Also, I was gonna make a murder joke, but I shouldn't joke about murder. That's bad. That's a crime, actually. So I didn't do any of that. How was your Wisconsin trip? Your Milwaukee trip?
I'm very tired right now because yesterday, me and the band went to the Saturday show of the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and only reason we were there is because some of you know I run a small YouTube show where people give me albums and I talk about them and shit. And on the last one, the album that came at number 2 was by a band called Death.
Just Death.
Death. Largely regarded as like the pioneers of death metal.
Interesting.
So yeah, a pretty important group,
I'd say.
And their last album was called The Sound of Perseverance. And like I said, it came at number 2. And then very shortly after I heard it, the remaining, or some of, Death had a lot of band members. So some of them, they have a tribute band called Death to All, where they still perform.
Oh, nice.
Like these songs in, honor of, because the lead writer and singer, guitarist, he died in like 2001. So yeah, they like still perform in honor of him and all that jazz. And they're doing a tour where they play 2 albums in full live, and one of them was The Sound of Perseverance.
Ah.
So I was like, holy shit, this album that I just heard that I really liked, they're playing it in full.
Wow.
And the closest one was Milwaukee, so we went there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I saw them, saw a little bit of Possessed. Testament was there.
We like Testament.
A little bit of Catatonia, although we dipped out early because they were late as shit.
Nah.
And we were tired, and it was up there, and we're all the way down here.
We're all the way down here.
And I got home at like 12:50 a.m., and that was stupid. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool all around. Got to see,
Did you have any cheese?
I crowd surfed for the first time. I crowd surfed.
So much better than cheese. You crowd surfed.
It was pretty, honestly, awesome. I understand why people do it now.
So what does it feel like to be crowd surfed? Does it feel invasive? I feel like it feels invasive, like when people are just like touching your butt,
Hey man, it's whatever. It's kind of how it goes.
Hey man, it's whatever. If people want to do it, people want to touch the butt.
Yeah, the first time was during Painkiller because they covered Painkiller on the album.
Sick.
And I did it, but I was like too far to the front, so it went by way too quickly. So I went around, came back, and during my favorite song on the album, I crowd surfed again, and it was like much more people.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So when you get to the end of a crowd surf, you're at the back of the crowd, right? Did you have to work your way back up to where the band was?
Yeah, I worked my way into the pit because there's always a pit there,
Yeah. Well,
and then I just surfed again. It was awesome.
Just did that all night. Well,
just twice.
Congratulations, man. That's a bucket list thing for sure, especially for people that go to concerts and see surfing happening and think to themselves, you know what, that'd be cool, but not right now. Because I remember when we went to go see the Foo Fighters at Riot Fest there were a lot of people crowd surfing, and there were a lot of people crowd surfing all day because it's a festival and that's what people do. And I have a special place of hate in my heart for people who open up mosh pits. I guess I'm not that guy.
Nick's a soft boy.
I'm a soft boy. I'm very soft. If someone's pushing me even a little bit, I will give way. I will surrender everything to them. If anyone even slightly like, I'll cave, like when you kill an NPC in like an Unreal 4 game and they just like limp body, and it's like I'll do that, and that's not good to do at concerts. So I don't know. I'm not a pit guy. I'm not a crowd surf guy. I'm definitely the kind of guy that will get balcony seats or go just listen to artists that play in theaters. But every once in a while, a good outdoor festival / outdoor show, especially now that it's summer.
It was also inside. It was in like this giant fucking really tall building. There was like 3 stages, each on a different floor.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's That's actually crazy.
Huge. It was a big ass stage.
I wonder, you're going to have to tell me the name of that venue because I have to see
the Rave Eagles Club.
The Rave Eagles Club. Yeah. I feel like I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I even wore like all white because I was expecting it to be outside. Yeah. Because it's a festival.
Right.
With a shit ton of bands. But no, it was a fucking building.
So then everyone could see your sweat from all the crowd surfing that you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, dude, I love metalheads, man. Some of them are just so goofy. There's a dude, this like buff dude in like a fully like decked out back, front, everywhere, like My Little Pony shirt. And I was just like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Someone was in like a Garfield costume. It's like the shit you see, man.
I feel like it's only metal shows. Or like, I can't remember what show I saw someone dressed up as Jesus.
Yeah, there was Jesus. Jesus was there as well.
Jesus was there as well. Jesus loves his metal. Jesus really, he's a holy dude, but a lot of metal has to do with like holes and. Do you think Jesus likes Cannibal Corpse?
Probably.
There's a lot of songs about putting holes in people. That Cannibal Corpse writes. So Jesus is like, bro, I got that experience. I put that shit on my resume.
Yeah, being there, it really makes me want to make a battle jacket, man. There's so many battle jackets.
Yeah, it's a lot of battle jackets.
That's just so cool, man.
It really is. It's kind of like battle jackets. I feel like the people that make battle jackets also get tattoos, but it feels like it has the same, I guess, similar sentiment to it, where you put stuff on the jacket that is specific to you, and that specific combination is just like, yeah, this is who I am. This is who I listen to. This is what I like. And it's like tattoos kind of work the same way. And I'm sure there were also a lot of people with tattoos at Metal Fest.
Yeah.
I feel like metal shows and like rock shows and punk shows are full of the most it's where people can express themselves. And I feel like I've been to a lot of shows recently, or not a lot of shows recently, but I've been to shows where you can tell the crowd is just like a bunch of normies. And they would rather like look really cute and hot dressing up to go to a show than like wear a Garfield costume. And I feel like metal is just that genre where people feel comfortable. It's the community of it all. And metalheads are typically like so nice too. It's like they're the nicest people in the world, especially when it comes to concert etiquette. I feel like people are generally at metal concerts, they're very aware of what happens at a show like that with the moshing and the crowd surfing, and if someone does bump into you on accident, they'll be very apologetic unless they're too drunk, in which case that's not good.
Dude, there was a dude, like 2 guys, like one dude was like holding up another guy, like walking like out of the pit, and they straight up just both fucking collapsed right on the ground.
Oh my god.
And like people picked them up and they left, and a couple songs later the dude that was like more fucked up came back and went back into the pit.
Oh my god,
people are crazy. There was kids crowd surfing, man. I swear to god, there was like 2 kids under like 13 years old fucking crowd surfing. It's crazy, man. What a crazy show.
Kids are made of rubber, dude. If anyone could handle crowd surfing and moshing, it's them. But me at 28, soon to be 29 in 6 months, 5 months. Oh my God!
You gotta do it while you're young.
Got to do it. Or I missed it. I missed it. So all you kiddos out there, all you youngins, go to metal shows, go to punk shows, go to shows where people are like throwing each other around, because generally people are nice about it. And also, when you finally do get old and you can't do that shit anymore, you're gonna wish you had. And that's on Milwaukee Metal Fest. I've been Nick Scarpinato for Channel 44 News. This is episode 44 of the podcast.